Slalom was released in March of 1987. Developed by Rare and published by Nintendo, it's among the only 3 black box games not to be developed by Nintendo. Although being released about 2 years after the NES came to market in the US, it was the first game for the NES to be developed outside of Japan, and it's also the first game to be developed under the Rare brand. Slalom is a single-player skiing game where you compete in a series of slalom timed attacks on 3 mountains with 24 levels total. Each of the 3 mountains represent the level of difficulty for each of the mountain's 8 levels. Each of the game's levels has a set time limit where you must reach the end of the level or else you'll get a game over. This is easier said than done, as there's plenty of obstacles on the mountain, including trees, flags, snowmen, sledders, and other skiers. The flags are important as you need to ski between them to maintain your speed, however they are optional to go through. There are bumps you can hit which will send you into the air, allowing you to perform tricks for bonus points. However, failure to land them correctly will have you fall and lose time. The game's a lot of fun, however on higher levels it's fairly difficult. However, the game's difficulty makes it fun to master rather than being overly frustrating, at least on the easier mountains. The game's graphics are cartoony and pretty good. The point of view behind the skier is reminiscent of Mach Rider and hasn't been seen much in the console up until this point. The game features sprites that resize when you get closer, almost giving them a scaling effect without actually scaling the sprites. The soundtrack for Slalom is great, the music does a good job accompanying the game, and it's well arranged. The soundtrack was composed by David Wise, who would later become one of the more well-known NES composers for arranging music for a decent number of games on the console. Slalom was his first soundtrack for any game on the console. Overall, Slalom is a pretty basic skiing game, but it's fun. Difficult, but fun. The game's gameplay is good, but it's also worth checking out as it represents a number of firsts on the console. First David Wise soundtrack, the first game under the Rare name, and one of the only black box titles not developed by Nintendo. If you're not sold on the game's gameplay, be sold on the game's history instead. NES Chronology is a Patreon-supported show, and would not be possible without the support of its patrons. If you'd like to support the show and receive some perks, click the logo and give what you can.